Welcome back to the Hurley Pro Heat 2 of round 4, about to get underway with the Jeep ratings leader Jordy Smith back out there, along with another of the highest scoring surfers of this event, Frederico Morais and Adrian Buchan, who just had a very convincing victory over Wiggly Dantas in the third round. It should be an epic battle. It's Ace who's going to get started here, driving up into that first section. Getting a bit more of a vertical approach as he moves through the rounds here. Tricky wave to surf. He does very well to finish that one off. Right behind him, Frederico Morais. So reliable with these big, powerful rail turns. And now adding some flair, just drifting that tail for a moment. So much speed down the line. Let's see how he uses it. Just bashes the closeout, and Jordy Smith right behind him. A high quality turn, straight into a nice big wrap. Hanging in the pocket, trying to keep things critical. Does well to hang on there. Surfing with so much flow through the earlier rounds. 3, in fact.
Let's take a look at Jordy Smith's. I believe it might be his second wave because we have a score in too as well, but this is unfortunate for him. This wave kind of lost its steam because those first maneuvers were solid. Didn't give him that inside little double up section with the fuller tide. Whereas Frederico getting a bit loose now. We've seen him hold that rail and drive that rail all the way through a maneuver, but this time getting some release. I'd like to see a little bit of the change in the dynamic of that maneuver. But see how this one gave him the final section. So he got loose off the top, as well as a nice solid finish. And then Ace is going to give you a whole different look on his backhand. Much more vertical approach. I don't know how he lake climbed that one, but just put all the weight on the tail block and just let the wave push him back down the face. So to say that this is the 7.33 out of the gates for Jordy, a little left. And he puts up a good number on the backhand this time. Making it look so easy, Jordy is. I mean, his board just cuts through it all, glides. Guys are really good at it.
Well, Fred's going left now. Both sides of the peak flaring this afternoon for the 4th round as we go on the lookout for quarterfinalists. This first wave is going to go into the 8-point range. It's going to be excellent. This one's going to be pretty solid too. So reliable with those big finishes, isn't he?
You know, it's not like he has had a ton of experience at all of these venues, but he's just a confident guy, you know, very athletic. And he understands the criteria, and he surfs to the criteria, doesn't make a whole lot of errors. You know, Richard March been working with him. You know, his goal, you know what? Find a way to stay on tour.
You know, he's watched his John come through already, so there's been some great surfing. And then for Jordy, if he could skip to the quarters as he bangs away at the lip right here, another speed line float right there, comes around the corner, belts it again, so he's got plenty of flow on this wave, finishes strong on the inside corner right there. You know, this is a really big heat. Ace behind him, nailing the lip, straight up vert, winning these things, jumping through to the quarters. It's so massive for these guys as they finish off waves here. As you know, he's going to be looking really good down the line. So Jordy really needs to take the win here.
Well, you can see the intent on this wave, Pete. When he got the opportunity, he really laid into it.
Right there. You know, that was a kind of a turn. We've seen him go through that maneuver, but that one, he put some pressure on that back foot and really gouged into it. I like to see that again, giving us something a little bit different as we move through, because it's been really easy for him. You know, those big round arcs and, you know, very powerful. Ace, on the other hand here, with the backhand, a totally different approach.
He's super good on those maneuvers, and yeah, I was lucky enough. He fell off a few waves, and yeah, I'm stoked to move into the quarterfinal.
What board are you riding?
Yeah, this is a Brazilian board made
Really was the catalyst for his world title run.
Sure was, you know, and it's been the same rocker as we watch the replay here from Ace on the left. Pretty good number coming in for him. You know, I like that Ace is not just relying on the backhand. He's going to go to his forehand as well if the opportunity arises, because there is some scores to be had on these lefts. Punches the lip for that final move.
Yeah, this one during the break. Let's have a look at it.
Looking at the right, getting some release out of the lip. I like that he's showing us a little something different. You know, I know that he has that kind of tail slide, but you know, it's hard to move away from something that's been working. That turn there, that big round arc. Gosh, his equipment looks so perfect for him. I mean, he literally, every time he comes to every venue, his board just is glued to his feet. He's plenty of speed.
And it looks like he's going to use it. We'll stick with the current heat leader. He's trying to get rid of a 7.27 now. Doesn't quite do it. Jordy Smith still going down the line on this right. And he's chasing a 8.08 to get himself into the lead. A little hung up in the foam here. Doesn't quite ride clear.
But I mean, this right looked like it was begging to be tagged. So just a double float actually, and then we caught it right here. So, you know, now looking at the replay, I would say that he's going to need another wave. Still some time.
Always blows my mind just how easily Jordy swings that lumber around. It's such a big board, and he just looks so alive on his equipment, so planted on his boards.
It's always rode the right volume for a guy his size.
Here we go, Ace Buchan trying to get the lead back. He's a 7.38, already a couple of really decent turns. And still has some ground to make up on the inside. This wave just keeps providing a bit of a wonky swell line cutting through it at the moment, but he's still powering through it. Takes a little look up toward the panel. Fred is chasing him down the line there. We'll see what he did on the outside in a moment, but
focus on the equipment. Everybody's board looks really good. I mean, Ace's, Frederico's, you know, they're both riding the same shaper in JS. Nice wave here. That was solid. But, you know, he's riding a different construction. He's going to be riding the normal polyester, whereas Ace is on the hi-fi here, Trestles, the EPS construction. And his board looks spot on. I mean, you can see how he gets that little extra looseness out of the lip. That's that styrofoam core. This is going to be a tough decision for the judges. That was a well-surfed wave on the backhand here from Ace. It feels like 7.38 probably is going to be achieved, but Frederico might, since he has priority. Second priority is what with Frederico?
Well, this is a good pressure test for Jordy. Let's see how he performs under the pressure, chasing a big score. He needs a 9.4. He has to go big. Drives into this first section. Blitzes the pocket. Up onto the roof. Great control, has plenty of speed to use here. Tricky wave to surf. Doing pretty well at the moment.
Wow.
Launched himself into the closeout there. Right behind him, though, Morais gets an opportunity to up the ante once again. This wave's starting to stretch out, but he will reach this green face and lay down one of those trademark hacks, get the board back up there for another hit.
What do you guys think at home?
I love the first turn.
No, it's amazing, and that's exactly what you need to do. He went vertical up into that lip. Again, little chop on the face being that is set number one, or wave number one. You know, that one there, I think if he had really been able to click and connect with the lip on that third maneuver and then the finish, we would say, yeah, there's a good idea that we would maybe see the 9. But, I mean, you have that extra 0.4 as we watch the replay here of Frederico, and that mid part of that wave where he had to kind of chase it down, that's going to affect the score. He wasn't able to just have that nice rhythm from top to bottom all the way through the entire wave.
Has to go large. Builds plenty of speed for this first section. Nice big float. Drops down before throwing. A nice hit there. Still trying to keep that down the line flow. Swings the tail for a moment. Was chasing a big score though. An 8.7. Not sure it was even as good as his own best ride, which is an 8.4. Jordy Smith up. 30 seconds to go. He launches a huge air, but comes down pretty hard. I don't think he's going to ride out or reappear.
Go big in order to turn the heat around for him.
Jordy's had it all his own way here. Obviously, he's created that rhythm through the earlier rounds, but this one just didn't really go to plan.
Didn't, but he still gave himself a chance.
And he dropped big numbers. He's got a huge score coming. We're still waiting to see what that final solid ride of Jordy's. But the number in for Jordy's previous wave, 8.6, so it wasn't the 9.4 that he was after. but it's going to change up their order.
Ooh, does, huh? Well, we still have a score for ace, too, that last one.
So as we mentioned, Jordy jumping up into second obviously has a big effect on where he'll finish up in round 5 and who he'll come up against.